first victory our great tribulation briefing. Of course, I've done my what I want to express to you here. As Jesus, from my perspective, because you have no way of having my perspective. The first tribulation was bad for those that chose to remain with me. And we went through it together. And it was horrible. It was daunting. It was mission after mission after mission. It was getting help for basic things in the most dehumanizing, humiliating ways possible for what was actually supposed to be shared with us as, I'll say, so-called brothers, and the term you have brothers in Christ. And I realized during that tribulation and many different missions I was sent on, and watching and listening to the radio stations, K-Love, walking past bars or places, and just noticing, how are these people going to work, making money, and not helping the actual true disciples of mine? And many people ask me, Lord, do you think it was foolish to celebrate in the presence of our enemies? Our enemies basically aren't who you think they are. It was something that needed to happen, but also an experience I wanted you to remember and learn, because of how difficult it was to get that celebration for everyone. That's why it was so important. It was a, yes, we are still here. Yes, God is still with us. Yes, it took a long time. Yes, I know it's not as big as you think, but it was how God wanted it done, and every objective God wanted was accomplished. So during the first tribulation, I learned so much, and I learned basically, if this continues, where it's going to lead, God's real people doing all of the work, the devil receiving all of the benefits as it continues to expand outside of the perimeters of the actual gospel. And I see it happening over and over again, and what it creates is this notion of, this is growing, and it will continue to be twisted, and it will grow some more. And you will have Christians that never actually know me. That is the path everyone is on right now. And it's in the testimony of all of God's real people. It's in the fruit of all of God's people that we're at a point where we have to go to people that don't know Jesus. Dance and prove that we do before they decide whether they'll give us what is rightfully ours when I tell them to. And then I realized what we're actually doing, being used. You don't understand there was a famine spiritually, and there still is. So the strength and the understanding that your spirit, malnourished as it is going to continue and continue. You have mass starvation. And that's going to assist us. Because then you're no longer going to be as a part of what every single one of my people that make videos or speak or walk around feel anymore. The fear, the anger, the lack of peace. So during this great tribulation, it's going to cause Christians to lose faith in me, while I sustain and feed my children. It's going to eliminate a huge portion of the enemy's forces that you are a part of. And it's a testimony of you doing what you're doing without any nourishment spiritually, any understanding. There's a few things, especially coming up, they're going to wipe you out. I'm planning big things. All of your enjoyment's going to be gone. You're not going to have a connection to any of these lies and dark places that you're able to hide. All of the lies are going to be exposed. So the kindness and what I wanted for my people was for my children to have a loving spouse that appreciated both God and them. Why I wanted you to honeymoon rest, because I can tell I'm not one of those commanders that will just march you until you're just exhausted to the point of death. I'll keep giving you strength. I'll keep giving you strength. But rest is important. And in that rest, you would have revitalized yourself. Some of you have been fighting this over 3 years. Of course, you're beyond, you're barely alive. And that's only because I raised you to life. So, what is it? 42 more days you have left. But when you die and you're not getting this, there's no other chance. You're not going to exist in a human body ever again. Your spirit will. But once you spiritually die, whatever happens to you, and then you go to sleep, it's going to be outside. You won't be going to sleep in Christ. You won't be dying in your sin. Your next life will be hell for eternity. There's not any more chances. This judgment isn't about calling out your sin. It's about who I'm going to give life to in a human body and allow them into the new heaven and the new earth. So this generation that believes they're having fun and everything's not to be taken seriously, this is why. So I'm giving you the full picture. Once you're out of my spirit completely, everyone in existence is going to be happier just by product, just because you are removed. What I noticed is we're spending all this time on drug addicts and these different generation types that will never ever love God or do anything harmless around my children, especially my little ones coming up. So as angry as you want to be and what you think you can do, as you diminish, especially in a spiritual famine that you've been in, of course, an all-loving God will always have a plan for kingdom spouses that simply, my prodigal no longer